On a cold morning, a 17-year-old boy stood outside a hospital holding an old bicycle. It wasn't just any bicycle. It was the only gift his father had ever given him. The last gift. And within the next hour, he would sell it. Not because he won.
Not because he wanted money for himself. Not because he wanted something new. But because his mother was running out of time. What happened next would change his life forever. A simple life Ethan lived with his mother in a tiny apartment on the edge of the city. Life was never easy. His father had died when he was only 9 years old. Since then, his mother had worked tirelessly to provide for them. She cleaned offices.
She cleaned offices. She washed clothes. She took any job she could find. Despite their struggles, she always smiled. Every night she reminded Ethan of one thing. Kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything. Ethan never forgot those words. The bad news: one afternoon, Ethan returned from school and found his mother sitting quietly at the kitchen table. Something felt wrong. Her smile was gone. Her eyes were filled with worry. A few minutes later, she finally spoke. The doctor had discovered a serious heart condition. She needed treatment. Without it, her condition would continue getting worse. Ethan felt as though the ground beneath him had disappeared. The treatment cost more money than they had. Much more. The treatment cost more money than they had. Much more. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. For the first time in his life, he felt completely powerless. The bicycle. The next morning, Ethan stared at his bicycle. It was old. The paint was faded. The tires had been replaced several times. But it carried memories. His father had saved for months to buy it. Before his father's death, they spent countless weekends riding together. Every scratch told a story. Every dent held a memory. Selling it felt like losing a piece of his father. Yet Ethan knew he had no choice. His mother needed help. A difficult goodbye at the market. Ethan found a buyer. The man handed him cash. As Ethan passed over the bicycle, his hands trembled. For a moment, he almost changed his mind. Then he remembered his mother's tired smile. He let go. As the buyer rode away, Ethan watched until the bicycle disappeared from sight. His heart broke. But he told himself it was worth it. Anything for his mother. Not enough. The money helped. But it wasn't enough. Not even close. The hospital bills continued growing. Ethan took part-time jobs after school. He delivered packages, washed dishes, cleaned parking lots. Every dollar went toward his mother's treatment. Weeks passed. Yet the amount they needed still seemed impossible. Hope slowly began slipping away. An unexpected encounter. One rainy evening, Ethan was delivering packages downtown. An elderly man accidentally dropped a wallet near the sidewalk. People walked past without noticing. Ethan ran after him. "Sir, you dropped this." The man looked surprised. Inside the wallet was a large amount of cash. Ethan could have kept it. Nobody would have known. But he remembered his mother's words. Kindness costs nothing. The old man smiled warmly. "You could have taken everything." Ethan shrugged. "It wasn't mine." The stranger never forgot that answer. The secret. Several days later, the same man appeared at Ethan's workplace. He asked Ethan to sit with him. Then he asked about his life. At first Ethan hesitated. Eventually he shared everything. His father's death. His mother's illness. The bicycle. The endless struggle. The old man listened silently. When Ethan finished, the man wiped away tears. Because Ethan reminded him of someone he had once loved. His own son. A son he had lost many years ago. The miracle. A week later, Ethan received an unexpected phone call from the hospital. There had been a mistake. Someone had anonymously covered the remaining treatment expenses. Ethan couldn't believe it. He asked who paid. The hospital refused to reveal the person's identity. His mother finally received the treatment she desperately needed. For the first time in months, hope returned. The truth. Months later, Ethan received a letter. Inside was a note. The note came from the elderly man. It read, "Years ago, I lost my son. I spent many years wishing I could have one more chance to help him. When I met you, I realized life had given. When I met you, I realized life had given me that chance. You returned my wallet when you needed the money more than I did. That kind of character is rare. Never stop being the person you are. Tears filled Ethan's eyes. Finally, he understood. Tears filled Ethan's eyes. Finally, he understood. The old man had paid for everything. A new beginning. His mother recovered. Life slowly improved. Years later, Ethan graduated from university. On graduation day, he looked into the crowd. His mother was there. Healthy. Smiling. And beside her stood the elderly man who had changed their lives. Ethan walked onto the stage carrying a small photograph of his father. He wished his father could have seen that moment. Then he remembered something. Maybe he had. Because sometimes Then he remembered something. Maybe he had. Because sometimes love never truly leaves. It simply finds new ways to return. Ending years from now, people may forget your name. They may forget what you owned. They may forget how much money you had. But they will never forget how you treated others. One act of honesty changed Ethan's life forever. And maybe, one act of kindness could change yours too.